Good morning, everyone, and welcome to BIBA 2013, Meeting the Growth Challenge. If this is your first BIBA conference, let me extend to you a special welcome. I'm sure there's plenty in both the conference program and the exhibition hall to capture and maintain your interest. This is my 10th BIBA conference, but I remember my first like it was yesterday. It was BIBA 2004 in Glasgow. It was Eric Galbraith's first time too, and I remember thinking how proud he must have felt as a Glaswegian addressing his members for the first time in his home city. Well, I stand before you today, ladies and gentlemen, as a proud Londoner. I was born in Gidea Park, some 9 miles to the northeast of Exeter, in what my mum describes as the posh end of Romford. You know it, obviously. I stand before you today delighted and honoured to be leading the association at this exciting stage of our history, and truly humbled by the volume of supportive messages that I've received from members, stakeholders and other broker associations from around the world. BIBA today has the best team of people in its history. Under Eric's leadership, we raised the representation of your best interests to new heights. For example, we have more frequent discussions at higher levels with a variety of government departments. As you've just witnessed, we have for the very first time on the BIBA stage had an active government minister, and not just any minister, the insurance minister. And I promise over the next 20 minutes, despite what it may appear, Sajid did not have a copy of what I'm reading out to you this morning. In 2012, we had 11 meetings with HM Treasury, 41 meetings with MPs and MEPs, and 24 FSA meetings. We now have a much stronger voice. Membership numbers have doubled over the last 10 years. It is only right that I take this opportunity to say to the BIBA team how proud I am to be your CEO. I too would like to thank our principal sponsors, Ageas, Aviva, AXA, and Zurich. Your support for the conference is gratefully received. As Andy said, our audience today includes many that have travelled from overseas, including many of our friends from the BIPA Federation, and to you I extend a very special welcome to BIBA 2013 here in London. Here in London, we're very proud of the significance of the capital's insurance market. The latest figures available, which are for 2011, show the London company market wrote just in excess of £22.25 billion premium, whilst Lloyd's wrote just shy of £23.5 billion, giving a combined London market premium income of in excess of £45.75 billion. Turning to the broader UK insurance market, the UK insurance sector is the third largest in the world and the largest in Europe. It manages investments amounting to 26% of the UK's economic strength. It contributes £10.4 billion in taxes to government and employs nearly 300,000 people in the UK. As a sector, it touches the lives of almost everyone in the UK, providing vital services literally from the cradle to the grave. The insurance sector is there when you drive your first car and when you retire. Its products empower people to do things they could or would not otherwise do, whether going on that dream holiday or taking that first crucial business decision. It is a positive asset to the UK and an active partner with government. Let us not undersell the value of the insurance broking sector and the significant role that BIBA members play. Insurance brokers make a direct and indirect contribution of 1% to UK GDP. We arrange 56% of all general insurances in the UK and around 80% of all commercial insurances. BIBA members now approach 2,000 separately FCA-authorised entities. Our members operate out of over 2,500 offices all over the UK, employing over 100,000 people in the process. So we represent around a third of all of those employed in the UK insurance sector. The theme of this year's conference and the 2013 BIBA manifesto is Meeting the Growth Challenge. 2013 is a year of change with a new Financial Conduct Authority, key progress with the revision of the Insurance Mediation Directive, and the introduction of the new Consumer Insurance Act. And that is why the BIBA manifesto is more important now than ever. The BIBA manifesto, which is our calling card to government, the regulator, and the media, is split into 3 distinct sections to match the needs of our members and their customers with those of government. Let me quickly pick out just a few key issues from the manifesto. Firstly, meeting customers' needs, facilitating the future of flood insurance. Whatever solution is chosen, BIBA and our brokers will have played an active part. I appreciate this is a sensitive area. We and our members have worked continually with government, with the All-Party Parliamentary Group, and appeared before the EFRA Select Committee to offer solutions and support. Reform of insurance law. We've worked with the Law Commission to ensure the best results for our members and their customers. For example, giving greater certainty over claims. Customer compensation. Our support for the Employers' Liability Tracing Office to ensure customers can access fair compensation. And signposting, as you heard Sajid say, growth in the sales of insurance via our signposting agreement, which in its first year alone helped over 43,000 older people find cover through a BIBA broker where they had previously been unable to access it. Secondly, managing risks and supporting jobs and growth. Tackling fraud. BIBA is involved in numerous anti-fraud issues and are involved in the DVLA Access project. We have forged close links with the Insurance Fraud Bureau to reduce the £50 cost to every policyholder and created new guides for members. We want to cut out that £2.1 billion cost of fraud to innocent policyholders. UKTI, we will continue to work with UK export finance, enabling new growth in emerging markets. We will continue to work with we will continue our business continuity work with the Cabinet Office to support and protect small businesses and encourage growth. And thirdly, promoting fairer regulation. On client money, our work on unconditional risk transfer will achieve greater protection for customers. I'll be announcing more about this at the compliance seminar session tomorrow morning. We will move up a gear on our work in Europe to ensure we fend off inappropriate directives that threaten our competitiveness. We want enterprise to flourish, and so we'll be lobbying for fairer, more proportionate, cost-effective regulation for our low-risk sector, which does not stifle enterprise. And finally, we will be continuing to push to allow business to do business and not be shackled by unfair systems of compensation like the FSCS. We will never give up on this issue. These are just some of our key manifesto points where BIBA will continue to work with government and other stakeholders such as the ABI, BPAR, the CBI, the FSB, and which, to name but a few, tackling issues like the government investigation into the cost of motor insurance and achieving the right level of regulation to ensure we can meet the growth challenge. I hope you will all engage with us over these issues so we can best support and protect you, our members, your clients, and our profession. BIBA announced a wide-ranging strategic review at last year's conference. This past year has seen detailed investigations by 6 work streams into board governance, member segmentation, the executive team's structure and resourcing, commercial activities, communicating with one voice, and a code of conduct. The BIBA team visited the regions where we have gathered invaluable feedback from members about the review. Thank you to all of those who have given us feedback so far. Our conversations with you have enabled us to develop recommendations which I believe will ensure we have the right structure to best serve you going forward. I'll share these with you today. Given the review's complexity, we have chosen at conference to focus on those areas that are of such fundamental importance to BIBA that they will be our first priority. Turning initially to segmentation, this workstream looked at how we identify the prime segments of our membership in order to provide you with a better, more tailored proposition to suit your needs. We explored options for recategorizing the membership and have created a new segmentation model displayed on the board behind me, which separates members into 5 broad segments. So going from the top left-hand corner, small firms north with a turnover of under $1 million. To the top right, small firms south with a turnover of under $1 million. Larger firms with a turnover in excess of $1 million. Networks, aggregators, MGAs, and other distributors, and UK nationals, London market, and international members. Our membership data shows that around 85% of our members employ 10 or less people. But conversely, the remaining 15% control a very high percentage of premium spend. BIBA's board membership needs to reflect the membership segmentation, and this transformation may take some time. I think it's right that a regional focus is reflected in that small firms group, with a national focus on other segments made up of larger firms. I'm pleased to announce that the board has endorsed this model. We now want to hear what you think is a minimum data suite that we can reasonably collect from members in order to aid segmentation and our effectiveness. The governance workstream has recommended an overhaul of BIBA's main board structure, altering its size and constitution to better reflect the segmentation of our membership. As you can see behind me, it proposes that the board should have 10 to 12 members in future, comprising a chairman, a deputy chairman, an independent non-executive director, the BIBA CEO plus 2 others from my executive team, and the balance of the board made up of member representatives whose selection is based upon the proposed 5 segments mentioned earlier. A new structure will replace the General Insurance Brokers Committee. Supporting the main board will be 5 advisory boards formed by each member segment, which will each elect their own chairman to represent that segment at main board level. Each regional chair will also sit on a regional advisory board. Its chairman, essentially a chair of chairs, will also sit on the main board. BIBA's valuable technical committees will remain to give guidance and advice. Now, this all makes complete sense to me, as the proposed new structure will better reflect how our members are segmented. It excites me, and I hope it does you too. Of course, these proposals will be subject to consultation and will have to be approved by an extraordinary general meeting. The workstream considering the introduction of a code of conduct or practice generated the most debate. Members have told us there is a strong case for BIBA to play a more active role in raising standards. We will work on a code or similar to deliver this, and we will be consulting with members. We embarked on this review to improve BIBA's support for members, and the Executive Resourcing Workstream has been considering ways to do just that. I believe that strengthening the BIBA executive, particularly in important areas like public affairs and regulation, will create a team better capable of delivering this aspiration. As a result of the One Voice workstream's recommendations, we will work with key stakeholders, influencers, and decision makers within other associations to ensure the broker's voice is heard loud and clear. Analysis by the Commercial Activities Workstream confirms how important income from outside of membership subscriptions is to BIBA. It allows us to keep costs to members down and to invest additional resources, such as research, to promote brokers. We are going to explore how to make the BIBA scheme selection more robust and how to improve the customer journey for those using our call center and Find a Broker website. I feel passionately that we're moving in the right direction here. We are on the right road. The recommendations will come into effect over an agreed time frame. It is important, however, that we continue to get things right rather than rush their adoption. I urge you to get involved in the various review consultations along the way. We want your views. Conference is the ideal time to make your voice count. BIBA board members and executives are on the BIBA stand over the next 2 days in order to take your feedback. There will also be information on the website and a new email address, ceo@biba.org.uk, so you can contact me directly. It's only through your feedback we can guarantee BIBA is a top-tier trade association, capable of meeting the challenges of the 21st century. The purpose of the strategic review is for BIBA to be the best that we can be. I've been quoted in the trade press recently talking about courage, and I would like to elaborate on that sentiment now. To my mind, courage has two parts. Firstly, the courage to stand up and speak out when standing up and speaking out is the right thing to do. I commit this association will become the best it can be at standing up and speaking out on the matters that mean most to you, our members. Let me give you 3 examples where, in a post-banking crisis world, we will be standing up and speaking out. Firstly, we spend plenty of time with politicians, civil servants and regulators, both domestically and in Europe. When we discuss the crisis with them, they tell us that the insurance industry has been very good at making the case that insurance is not banking. They do now get this. However, they go on to say that collectively, we have not been very good at explaining what insurance is. So I commit the association to be the best that we can be at telling our story, explaining to these officials who we are, what we do, and the value that we bring. And you can help us do this. On the screen behind me are 5 key facts that help tell our story. 5 facts for you to remember and pass on to your colleagues. So if any of us get that 30-second elevator moment with a politician, civil servant, or an opinion former, we can tell that story. We make a 1% contribution to UK GDP. We employ over 100,000 people. We arrange 56% of all general insurances in the UK, 80% of all commercial insurances. And insurance brokers are where you go for advice, for choice, and for expertise. Now, I'm going to take a quick sip of water. If you've got your mobile phones handy, get it out, take a photo of that, and start tweeting it. Do I see any flashes? 1 or 2 from the back, thank you. Secondly, 5 years into a post-banking crisis world, as you've heard the minister say, consumer trust and confidence in all things to do with financial services is pretty much at an all-time low. And that includes general insurance. There is a job of work for all of us to do here, and I commit the association to be the best it can be at helping to restore that trust and confidence. The work we're doing as part of the strategic review on a code of conduct, practice, or ethics will lead to changes of behavior that can only enhance this restoration. And thirdly, the government recently announced the second phase of their red tape challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 years on from the start of the banking crisis, now must be the right time for the politicians and regulators to look again at how they reacted to the crisis, to look again at the effect of their reaction on the low-risk areas of the financial services sector. The lowest risk of all is the general insurance broking sector, and the time must be right to look again at the appropriateness and proportionality of the way in which we are regulated. And then there is the regulatory cost burden. 2 years ago, we launched research showing that the direct and indirect regulatory cost burden on UK insurance brokers is some 3 times the size of the second dearest in Europe. The recently announced 15% year-on-year increase in our regulatory annual fee pushes insurance brokers nearer to the point at which we say enough is enough, Mr. Regulator. You cannot just keep increasing these regulatory costs. I commit the association to be the best it can be at standing up to the regulator on these issues, to say to the regulator that we are a low-risk area, to remind the regulator that the UK insurance broking sector represents no systemic risk, and to suggest to the regulator he takes his tanks off our lawn sends them onto our high streets, and finally sorts out the real problem, the banks. My script says pause for applause. I'm glad I got that one right. But ladies and gentlemen, courage isn't just about standing up and speaking out. It's also about sitting down and listening. And I commit the association to be the best it can be at sitting down with members and listening. The BIBA senior management team is going to become more visible around our regions. Starting this autumn, I will instigate a structured program of regional visits where we will come out to sit down with members and we will listen. The work I described earlier on segmentation will allow us to listen more carefully to the specific issues in each of our member segments. So I commit the association to be the best we can be at both sitting down and listening to you and your issues, and then standing up and speaking out on them on your behalf. But to be the best that we can be, I need your help. BIBA is, after all, a membership association. And a membership association is only as good and effective as the quality and quantity of engagement of its members. And this is where you come in. So don't just join in. So how do you join in? Our new advisory board structure will open up opportunities for members to get involved in our corporate governance. So please take that chance. Please involve yourself or get your best people involved with our regional committees. I've enjoyed my first month as BIBA CEO and the challenges that this brings. I'm looking forward to delivering on the commitments that I've made here today, and with your help, we will make BIBA the best that we can be. Now, looking forward to the next 2 days, we have a fantastic program of keynote speakers and seminar sessions for you. Following me onto the platform will be Martin Wheatley, the new Chief Executive of the Financial Conduct Authority. Martin will be making a speech and probably responding to some of the points I've made this morning. He will then take questions from the floor, and this is your chance to put your questions to our new regulator. This afternoon, we have Hilary Devey from Dragon's Den here on the main stage. I've seen the numbers. Her session is very, very popular, so please get here early. Tomorrow morning, we have former Secretary of State David Miliband. Now, David and I share at least 3 things in common. Firstly, our football teams both wear red and white. Secondly, we both have an interest in international rescue, though mine, of course, is the 1960s Jerry Anderson TV show Thunderbirds. And thirdly, we both have a younger brother. We have a number of excellent seminar sessions this year, and naturally I'm highlighting the regulation session tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning heralds not just the highlight of my conference, but one of the highlights of my career so far, as I'll be standing on this stage introducing to you Britain's most decorated Olympian, the one and only Sir Chris Hoy, a man who truly is the best that he can be. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the conference.